All right, we need to plug on and try to get this 1850 done. So we're gonna continue right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rouse the Oller Man. 1850 of sadness. We started off to replace his oil pan, which has a crack in it, and then ended up not being able to get it off because of all the stuff that was on this one that wasn't on my parts tractor. So I got that out of there, got it cleaned up, meadow greenified, and already dirt is setting in. I got a new steering hose made because his other side at some point in its life somebody's put a hose on. And anyway, I think now, because of all this stuff out of there, I can get my hand in and we can get those front 2 bolts loose, which was the only thing holding us up on getting that pan off of there. So that's what we're gonna try right now. All right, let's see if now we can get in there. It's still gonna be difficult because of my body not being able to get it in that position there. Come on, right there. Also, they are for some reason extremely tight, which was the other reason I couldn't get them loose. If they had been not as tight, I'm gonna say that I could have done it just like it was, but I could not get them to turn. Like I said, once you finally got your hand wedged up in there, you could not maneuver at all. Put my redneck plug back on there. I can't even see what's happening, to be honest with you. Should be about right there. There we go. I'll tell you, it's still not that simple. I mean, these bolts are still kind of fighting a little bit. I don't know why, but all right. So those 4 bolts were the most difficult. At least they should be. I should now be able to take the mini impact under there and zip the rest of this pan down with no problems. But we'll see. I'm sure there'll be problems. Well, there might actually be one more that a guy needs to do from the front in that little crook. I might try. I don't know. Do I want to do that from the bottom or the top? The rest of these I can get no problem. I'm betting that, well, I don't know. I know I can't get that with the mini impact, but maybe I could get it with the deep well. That's probably what I'll do. Let me grab the deep well socket and my ratchet, and I think I'll probably get it that way. Just for fun. Would this go up in there in a way that, no, it won't. See, that'll be too much angle. Gotta do it by hand. Which again, on mine, it's not all the way back. So, I think I'm gonna have to do that one from the top as well. Ridiculous.
Few inches later.
This is not going as prescribed. There. Would that work? Did that come out of there? It did. Good deal. It just takes the right combo of stuff. Did that come out of there? Yep. All right. I think the worst is behind us. I don't want to say that though, because then we know what will happen. Sadness. But all the hard to get to ones, I think, are now out of our way. And the pan is empty, so it's only a matter of just getting this done. I mean, trying to avoid getting hit in the face with all the flying debris. Probably should switch to this side. That way I'm equally covered with trash on both halves of my body. Again, this is where I think these little mini impacts just shine. This is just perfect for this. Oil pans. You can just zip them right out. That's dangerous, but I'll leave you there anyway. You're dangling over a couple buckets of oil, but I don't know. We'll see how fluid proof that camera really is. I will say, in the long run, I'm okay with what's happened here, because it's going to give us a chance to monitor that gasket more closely as we put it together than it would have if I was just trying to cram it up in there. So I think that everything worked out pretty good. There we go. All right, now we just need to find a way to convince the old oil pan to come on down. I'm not sure how we'll do that, because this one, I bet you, is glued on pretty good. So, let's double check and make sure there's no bolts holding us still. Go to the top side. See about tapping down on the where your oil spout is. Well, of course, you turned off because you're too hot, and I wish you could have saw that because it was spectacular. I tapped on the front of the oil pan a little bit, and the whole thing came sailing out of there, and it still had a little bit of oil in the bottom of it and splashed it all over everything. But yeah, whoever was in this engine last loved the orange Permatex, or the orange gasket maker. I see that stuff absolutely everywhere. So I'm gonna have a lot of cleaning here before I can even do anything. That gasket is also a puzzle piece gasket, so that tells me we're on the right track there. I just kicked over something. I don't know what it was, but who cares? Actually, I think this engine looks worse than the one in my junk tractor. It looks like there's a lot of, I don't know. I see some wear in places, and I have no idea how many hours are on this, so. Well, if we are to believe that new tachometer, what is it, 1900 hours? But, yeah. All right, well, No use to let you watch me scrape gaskets. I'll get this cleaned off and ready to put the new pan on. All right, friends, there we have it. Nice oil pan mounted in the tractor. All we had to do was disassemble half the tractor to get this far. But we will continue on our journey here in a minute. For you, it'll be in a minute. For me, it'll be tomorrow, probably. We need to rebuild that steering box, put it back in, steering line, put it in, and then just go back together. And I think we should have her licked. So that is our plan moving forward. But for tonight, I'm gonna call it for me because, yeah, I don't need to work all night long. So you'll be back in just a minute. All right, we need to continue our journey by rebuilding the steering box. And I probably should go to a vise, but I'm gonna try to do it right here. Because why not, you know? Why not? Let's have a look-see at what... There's still a lot of garbage. Good way to bust your teeth out. There we go. Now, this little feller's got a dot on it, and you need to make sure when you're done, you put that gear in the top, you line up the dot on it with this, or you won't steer the same in both directions, see? This is our suspect that's very much leaking. So, sure, you can get this handy little kit from Ag Parts First. Has all the stuff you need in it. Because Agco, you can't get it as a set. You're gonna have to order individual pieces. That one's much more rubbery like. There's a very stiff ring. And a nice O-ring backer. All right, so that's rebuilt and it's dry, ready to put back in the tractor. However, in usual fashion, we can't do it today. The hose shop put the wrong end on this hose. And I remember looking at it when I was in there sitting at the counter, and then somebody else started talking and I forgot to say something and whatever. So tomorrow I'll have to go back. I'm gonna have to get them to, there's enough room, length, I can have them cut that off and put a new end on, I think, and go again. But kind of frustrating when that place, that's their only job really, is making hoses. But the last time I was in there, the old guy that knew what he was doing told me, he said, I'm retiring tomorrow, or in a couple days, and he said, then who knows what's gonna happen. Well, I can tell you what happened. Sadness happened, you know. Anyway, we're gonna try to put this feller back in there. It's cleaned up and ready to go too. I also got 2 new bolts for the top because he had trouble with those coming loose all the time, and I feel like, you know, new ones would probably be helpful. Okay. Alright. Did that work? Not really, because I didn't drop it down in the pin at the same time. And that's what you gotta do for this to work. Taking it out. There we go. Now it's sitting in there correctly. The link is where it needs to be. Just needs to be tightened down. Needs to be tightened. Yeah. Now, remember how I said there's a dot on that thing? We're gonna have to line it up with the dot that's on the gear, but we're probably also gonna have to make sure that our wheels are perfectly straight, which I'm not sure that they are. Are they? Yeah, they're pretty close. It'll become obvious as we go. The wedge, or the dot, is right there. Pretty sure that's what it needs. All right, you piece of garbage. I'm starting to think that part of the trouble is that new seal is so good at the bottom. There. Oh, stay, please. And it's getting close now. Was it just not? No, it's still not there, but it's closer. There, now it ought to grab. I just had to walk away for a minute. Yeah, that's gonna go. I should probably do the right thing and hammer it home with the impact. Not really. Let's get an actual socket wrench. Boy, it feels tight, but I'm not happy with it. We need to put all that other stuff on, but I want to do a test fit of this. I should probably take that little plug out of there, and then it would be a lot easier. Okay, you got too hot, but what I wanted to do here was I wanted to do a dry fit of this cap and make sure that everything was going to be fine, because it concerned me that maybe it was sticking up too much, like the steering box wasn't going in the right place, down all the way, is what I'm saying. But it is okay. So now I'm going to work twice as hard to get this loose so I can put all this stuff in like it's supposed to be. Like that plug and the O-ring on the lid. You know, the thing. See, that popped up right away. And that kind of, I don't know. Is that good or is that bad? Is it putting unnecessary pressure on the lid all the time? And that's why he was having so much trouble? I guess they had that in mind when they made it, you know. They knew that it was gonna withstand those forces. I need to go get my new bolts. But we can put the stuff together and I can swap the bolts out later, I suppose. Which is probably what I'll do so I don't have to run after them. We're gonna quickly flippity flop the O-ring on this plug, which has to go down in there. Which, as you recall, is very, very worn. As in, people have kind of abused it over time. And I hope she comes out the next time. And don't ever put the plug in upside down, because if you do, friends, if you put this plug in upside down, you are going to have a terrible, terrible time, because you won't be able to get it back out again. Probably have to weld to it and pull it out and get a different one. Now, you would think a guy would come prepared and have a hammer See the suction, the air trapped under there is going to fight us the whole shebang. That's okay though. It'll go. It'll eventually escape. Or maybe it never will. Consequently, while the camera was dead there a minute, I put that steering line in so it doesn't drip anymore. So what I'm gonna do here now is go ahead and put that down in there now. It's probably gonna fight. I mean, all right, well, the camera's too hot. I'm too hot. And I got this back down in there. I kind of got nervous there for a minute because I heard something pop. And I think all that was happening was the link that holds the steering box over there, when I was tightening it down in the frame, I think that it jumped down on the pin a little bit. And I think that's the pop that I heard, because I don't see anything else that could be causing a noise like what I heard, but I think it'll be fine. It's in there solid, it won't move, so it should turn the wheels. I can't win today, I'm telling you. But the line's tight, the link's tight, the cap is tight. I'm gonna swap out those bolts. I've got to get some Loctite, and I'll put the new bolts in, take one out at a time and swap it. And then that lid should stay tight. Get the new hose made tomorrow, or the new hose fixed, I should say, for this right here. Then we can put that in. Then I can start going back together. I can put 2 lines. I could do that now. Put that back in, that plate in, get the radiator in, and then all the stuff that comes with that. Put water in it, try to start it, make sure our life's okay, and then soldier on. But it's kind of frustrating that that hose is not right, because now I'm at a standstill. You know, I could keep going tonight and have most of it together, but I'm not gonna be able to do that. I guess I should also double, triple check it and make sure if there's anything else I want to replace while I'm at this point, because it ain't getting no easier than it is right now. And oh, the belt. I got a different belt, and then it ended up, I need to get one that's slightly longer because it wouldn't go. I was concerned because I was maxed out here, but this is all the farther in I can go because it hits the block. So it takes a very particular belt, and I did not get the right one. So I'll get one that's about a ½ inch longer, and then that should fix that problem. Then, like I said, I mean, in another few hours, I should be able to have it back together where it's running and the way it needs to be. I also got to get more hydraulic oil because he didn't have any on hand. He had engine oil, so we're good there. It hasn't been leaking any. I should look at it first before I say that. It's right where I left it, so I need to top it off. I haven't got that done yet, but I did get the oil from his supply, so. But yeah, I think we are on the downhill slide of this project, which is good because it's taken me forever just because of nonsense little things, but it should be tons better than what he had, because, you know, that steering box was leaking pretty bad, and I don't know why. I don't know why, you know. I wish I did. Maybe stuff's getting too wore, and maybe I need to, if this doesn't work, pursue getting a different gear for the steering box, you know. Maybe it's wore up in the taper and it's not pulling, it's pulling down too far, which is, I'm trying to figure out if that would cause a bad problem. No, I mean, really it can't, it has to work correctly because the lid holds it down where it can't, you know, pull up out of that seal really. So I don't know how to say it. When you look underneath, you can see that it's protruding and you can feel it. So I know that it's where it needs to be, and I don't see any shards of rubber sticking out from it underneath, so that seal should be good to go. But sad part is you can't tell till you fire it up, and I'm not going to fire up his tractor without water in it, so I'll just go ahead and slap her all together and then find out if I failed, and if I did, then life's rough, you know. But we're in a lot better shape than we were. I gotta not forget to put this plate in. There's a plate that goes across there. I don't remember when I took that out. I think I took that out like now. Now would be the time to put it in, because it's got a cutout to go around those two lines. That can sit back down in here now because we're done on that side, if it will. Maybe I gotta go to that side to do it. There we go. Your cooler on the early ones is just a loop for your hydropower, but anyway, that should do that. Radiator, go back in, and then he should be back in business very shortly. I got to do batteries and change the battery cutoff. I forgot about that. We'll do that. That's no problem. But I think we're on the right path here. So yeah, I guess we'll call this one here. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.